going on? Good morning from beautiful Topanga Canyon in Malibu. I actually woke up really early this morning and came here to shoot sunrise. It's been a beautiful morning so far. I wanted to take a minute though and sit down and talk about some stuff that's been on my mind. And I think this video will be really beneficial to a lot of you guys that are, maybe going through the ups and downs and just, what comes with being a freelancer or being a photographer, any sort of artist, to be honest. This applies to literally everybody. And I think for me, I wanted to really be honest about, the reality of being a photographer, right? Like, I think it's just such a glamorized career sometimes, and it's not as exciting as people think it is all the time. There's obviously really cool moments and really high highs that come with being a photographer, but it isn't always rainbows and butterflies, and that's for sure. So I wanted to just be honest. This year I've talked to a lot of my friends as well, and it's been a pretty slow year for most people. There hasn't really been a ton of work going around, not as much as usual. And I think especially when you're starting out, this can feel very scary and daunting. It's like, wow, what am I doing wrong? What should I be doing differently? Is my work terrible? Do people not like me? All these things are, they go through your head because you start to kind of freak out a little bit. You're like, oh, wow, like what's going on? Why am I not getting work? And for me personally, since about May or so, I've had maybe 3 jobs actually land and stick. And that's definitely a lot lower than usual. One of them was really big, and a few of them were kind of smaller, more normal sized jobs. For the most part this summer, I haven't really had a ton of work. It's been pretty slow. And, I'd rather be honest and kind of talk about this than pretend that I am just working all the time and constantly, and it's all perfect. And I think that's the problem nowadays with social media is, you kind of see all these photographers, you see artists you admire, and you think everyone's always working. You think everyone's always doing cool stuff, working on cool projects. And you got to remember this is the internet. This is social media. And oftentimes stuff can't even be shared for several months afterwards. I have a lot of really exciting work rolling out in the next couple months. And people are probably going to look at that and be like, wow, he's busy, he's shooting. And a lot of the stuff was shot before the summer even started. So I think it's really important to remember that, the tough truth about being a photographer, being an artist, and running your own business is that you're gonna have years where you're not making as much money. You're gonna have years where it's just not going as well as it normally does, and that's just part of the ride. It's up and down, it's sideways. It's sometimes even taking U-turns every once in a while. It's never gonna be this perfect kind of trajectory, and I think that's a really difficult thing for most people to kind of grasp, and it definitely is for me at times. To understand that this is anything but a non-linear career. And it's so important to remember that, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have moments where things just aren't really working out. But stay the course. Keep going. Some of the best advice I ever received, honestly, is just to keep going one foot in front of the other. Because I think a lot of people eventually will quit. A lot of people will get tired and kind of overwhelmed, and they'll just be done. And really kind of the way that you can stand out and you can separate yourself is truly just to keep going. Now, you might ask yourself, what do I do when work is slow? What do I do when I don't have a lot to do? I think this is a perfect time to focus on the stuff that you've been wanting to be doing. I touched on this a little while ago in some previous videos, but I think it's so important for one to be shooting the stuff that you want to be shooting. This is a perfect time to get out there and shoot any sort of personal projects that you're interested in. I myself have several planned for the next month and a half or so, which I'm pretty excited about. And they're all things that I just have been wanting to shoot. They're people I've been wanting to shoot with. They're are stories that I've been wanting to tell. This is a perfect time to be doing all that. Now, you're probably asking yourself as well, how do I make money right now? And the honest answer is sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's really hard to make money when things are slow. I think I've learned a lot over the years about how to budget and save for when times are slow like this, because they are inevitable. And I'm not saying that there aren't many ways to make money, but sometimes it's just really hard. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's difficult to figure out what exactly you could be doing to make yourself some coin, but that's okay. I think taking a deep breath, realizing that it's going to be okay. I think focusing on the fact that you don't have work or that nothing's happening does not help anybody. So I think getting your mind out of there, getting your mind unstuck, is extremely helpful as well. For me, I think it's really important to shed light on topics like this, because I think this is the kind of stuff that no one really tells you when you start out. No one really tells you when you start taking pictures. It's hard to figure this stuff out on your own, and I think it can feel like the world is kind of collapsing on you a little bit when, you go 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year without getting something that excites you, or maybe there's just a lot of really small jobs and you're looking for something bigger. I think what I've learned is it just really does take time. And even where I'm at in my career, I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet, and I'm completely okay with saying that. I've had some really exciting points over the last couple years, especially. Some kind of check-in points that have been really exciting for me. But, this is such a long process to kind of embark on. You got people that have been doing this for most of their life, multiple decades. And when you look at it that way, especially photographers that you might look up to who maybe are a bit older, they've been doing this for a long time. And I can guarantee you that not every one of those years was great and wonderful and, better than the next, and you keep going and going and going and going. It just doesn't work like that. Progress does not work like that, especially with what we do. It's just an unrealistic kind of expectation of how your career is supposed to go. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if work's slow, if stuff's not kind of working the way that you want it to, you're not alone. I experience this very regularly as well, as do most other photographers, filmmakers, everybody experiences this at some point. And I just want to stress the point that it doesn't mean you're going down in your career. It doesn't mean that, you're taking a slump. It doesn't mean that, things are worse than they were. This is all part of the process. The line is like this. It's up and down. It's sideways. It's not something that is just perfectly on a trajectory of going upwards. Now, with all this being said, I am incredibly thankful to have this YouTube channel as another kind of source of income on here. And I want to be putting a lot more effort into this. I know I've been saying that for what feels like years now, but stuff always seems to be getting in the way. So I'm really hopeful that, the next year or so, I want to be able to devote a lot more time and energy to this channel. A lot of videos that I want to make, but they take a lot of time, energy, effort, money, other people helping me. But I'm excited to see what I can do here on the channel. And I can't thank you guys enough. I really appreciate everyone who takes the time to watch these videos, takes the time to support me, takes the time to look at my work. It means the world. So thank you all for continuing the support. And I hope videos like this are helpful. I know this is more just kind of like a check-in video, but this has been on my mind lately for the last couple weeks, and I feel like this would be beneficial to a lot of you guys out there. So with all that being said, thanks so much for watching, guys. Before this video wraps up, I did want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace, for sponsoring today's episode. As you guys know, Squarespace has been a longtime supporter of this YouTube channel, and they really do allow me to make videos like these, make videos about art, make videos about what it means to be an artist, travels. So I can't thank them enough for always hopping on board and being excited about what we're making here on the channel. With all that being said, Squarespace is by far the best choice out there, I think, to make any sort of creative website. It really does allow you to, pick and choose what you need without really kind of adding all the extra fluff that usually comes with making a website. I truly have used Squarespace almost since the start. They've always been a part of my photography journey, and as I've grown as an artist, I really feel like I've been able to kind of upgrade my website, add new images, add new tabs, sell products. It just makes it super easy and dialed when it comes to having a website. As artists, we want things to be simple, but we also want things to be pretty. And I think Squarespace kind of treads that line perfectly between beautiful and easy to use. Everything from templates to design choices, layout options. There's a lot of options for really anybody who's looking to create their own website. If you guys want to check out Squarespace for yourself, there'll be a link down in the description to receive 10% off your first website or domain purchase. Thanks so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.